Good morning and welcome to another Daily Devotions with Pastor Joe. I'm Pastor Joe, and I'd like to read from Philippians chapter 4 this morning again. I know I've read here a couple times in the last couple weeks, but this was a very special passage to me. It says, verse 10 through 13, it says, But I rejoiced in the Lord greatly, that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again, wherein you were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound everywhere, and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. And really, it's telling a little bit of a part of the story of Paul's work as an apostle, as a church planter. He had obviously been receiving some offerings, some special offerings from some of the different churches that he had planted, and the Philippian church in Philippi was one of them. And he says, I rejoiced in the Lord greatly that now at last your care of me has flourished again. Or in other words, he was very excited and thankful to have gotten another offering from them. He says, wherein you were also careful but lacked opportunity. Or in other words, they cared about it. They wanted to give him an offering, but they never got the opportunity to get the money to him. He says, not that I speak in respect of want, or in other words, it's not that he wanted and was in desperate need of money. He's not trying to portray that opinion, but he says he's learned in every state to be content, to be abased, to abound. He is instructed, or has the knowledge, has been given the instruction in life of how to be full, how to be hungry, how to abound, and to suffer need. Or in other words, he's come to a point in his life where he's realized that God provides all of his needs. There's never going to be a time where he's hungry and starving that he's going to say to himself, well, God hasn't supplied my needs. No, he's going to say, I wonder when God's going to supply my needs. I know God's going to supply my needs. He's going to go to God and say, Lord, I know you've got the provisions on the way. Could you just send them a little quicker? He's come to a point in his life where he no longer wonders, well, what on earth is God doing? He knows God is doing something special in the background, and he knows God's working, and that he doesn't have to worry about being in want, in great want, but instead, in those times, he's content with what God has given him. He knows that whatever he has is what God has wanted him to have, because he's realized that no matter what the situation is in his life, no matter what life has thrown at him, no matter what the world has given him as his lot in life, he knows that it is enough, that God is enough, that God gives him the strength to do all things, to go through all situations, and to make it through all circumstances. I have to ask, are we in that place today? Are you in a place where you say and mean, I can do anything that I have to do and I have to face because I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength? Or are you in a place where you're saying, I feel depressed, I feel lonely, I feel like I don't have enough in life, I feel like I don't have the person I want in my life or the things I want in my life or enough money to pay my bills and enjoy these things that I like. I don't have enough money for Papa John's pizza. I've been there. But just, which place are you in? Are you in the place where you're content with whatever God chooses to let you have and to give you in this life? Or are you in a place where you're miscontented and you're discontent because you're not satisfied with the things that God has given you? And really, I found it in my experience that the times whenever you don't have what you would really like, but you become content, that's when God gives you what you want. A couple of quick illustrations. I've known of at least two couples that whenever they came to a point in their lives, they were trying to have a child because they really wanted to have a child. They had even prepared to have a child. They had prepared the room. They'd gotten the things. They had everything they needed. They tried. They went to doctors, and nothing worked. Finally, they gave up, and they said, well, God must not want us to have a child. And so they began selling off their things, getting rid of everything that they had for the child. The day that they sold the last major item that they had for that child, they found out they were pregnant. And so God works in some very strange ways and some very strange timings, sometimes just to teach us that we need to be content with what he gives us when he gives us, and to just wait on him and wait on his timing. And so these people learned in whatsoever state they were in to be content. So today I'd like to just encourage you to look at your own life and say, am I content with what God has given me? And if not, why am I not content? And how can I become content with what God's given me? And I'm sure that it'll make a major impact on your life. It will help you in a special way to just change your life completely. It'll turn your whole life around if you take the time to become content with what God has provided for you in life. Thanks again for joining me for another Daily Devotions with Pastor Joe. May God bless you richly with peace and contentment as you go through your day. And may he give you the things that you need and several of your desires today. God bless.